Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Stephen Howson. Got to do a bit of a review of last night's game, a little bit of what it means for United and the league going forward. Talk about Michael Carrick and his resignation last night, and we'll have a little bit of a look forward at the Ralf Rangnick era, which I guess starts officially today. So, last night's game then. Obviously, we have to talk about that ridiculous goal. I don't really know what to think about it. It should stand. It was a goal. If United had scored like that, I'd have been like, tough luck. You've got to play to the whistle. De Gea obviously hasn't known who's come through the back of him, but this is where play to the whistle comes in. You stay on your feet, you play, you wait till the ball's cleared, especially at a corner. It's the most threatening time of a game, especially for a goalkeeper. You stay on your feet, you see that through, and then you deal with whatever issue you've got immediately afterwards. Simple as that. There's no other way around this. That's what you need to do. That's what you should have done, and it's not what you did do. So De Gea's got to do better there. Stop being so soft. Stop going down as easy as that, and hopefully it's going to be a little bit smoother sailing for him going forward. Aside from that, in the game, I didn't think United looked overly troubled. Yes, there was times in the game where Arsenal managed to get in behind us a little bit, but I thought we looked quite comfortable. I wanted to see a diamond myself. If you watched the preview, you know that was what I was kind of looking for. And I wanted to see how that could kind of pan out, especially if you're looking at try and press. Being compact through the centre is a real way that you can shut that style of Arsenal team down. We obviously never saw that, and we went with the old tried and trusted 4-2-3-1. But it was a decent game. There was a couple of times where United really sped it up, and was it the first goal? I think it might have been the first goal where we saw United really start to like knock it around nice and play it through the centre. Kept it nice and simple, bit of two-touch and happy days. The second goal from Arsenal, morning Matt. The second goal from Arsenal was a little bit of, you just got to do better there, aren't you? We identified in the preview, Arsenal are going to like to check it back. They're not really one for slinging crosses in. They like to pass it back. That's exactly what they did, and that's exactly how they scored, and no one picked up that second wave. That's why those cutbacks are effective. Very often a defence is going to go straight to the back line. They're going to go someone to the front post, someone to the centre, possibly even someone to the back post. But they're always going to be in line with the ball, or very close to being in line with the ball, because that's how you protect that front area. What you have to have is you have to have depth. And someone always needs to go 5 metres further out to create a second line. And that's exactly where Fred didn't manage to get. And that's exactly where Odegaard managed to get. And that's exactly where the ball went. And that was exactly how they scored. Disappointing to be able to identify this is how something could go down, and then it goes down exactly like that. But United carried on, and we pushed on, and we managed to get our noses in front, and we managed to hold on and get a win in the end. Cristiano Ronaldo, not human, 801 goals, absolute freak of nature. And I liked the abuse Jamie Carragher was getting from all quarters last night, asking him if he's still a problem. I think that's now, is it 11 goals, 3 assists, or 11 goals, 2 assists in 14 games? Sensational stuff from Cristiano Ronaldo. Absolutely sensational stuff. So, fair play to Cristiano for scoring. Ralf Rangnick era starts today. There's just been an Athletic article just uploaded this morning from Laurie Whitwell where he suggests that he could stay on past his interim role. Jokia, good morning. Ralf Rangnick has suggested he could recommend to Manchester United that he stays on as manager past the interim role. Rangnick was named as interim manager last week, and he's told he'll hold the role to the end of the season, at which stage he's agreed a 2-year consultancy. Be funny, yeah. So, my first job as consultant of Manchester United is to recommend Ralf Rangnick as permanent coach for 10 years. It seems like, it says the people I've spoken with, they have been very clear that it's a 6-month role. We've never spoken about what will happen in the summer. They will speak with me with that about me with that, and we'll see. If they ask about my opinion, it might make the same recommendation that I did at Leipzig twice, and it might be better to work with me for a year. Rangnick takes charge for the first time on Sunday when we face Crystal Palace. So the players will be in training this morning. They will be doing recovery, and then I think they're going to be going on. And probably, I would imagine, there'll be some presentations today. After they've done a little bit of recovery, I would fully hope that there's a presentation in terms of how we expect to play. And then they'll probably come back in tomorrow, work on a little bit of tactical stuff. But I think they'll get given a theory on it today if they've not already had that from him. I do know that there was a Zoom call meant to happen earlier in the week. 35 players were meant to attend and 6 attended. So that sounds like a clerical error to me. That sounds like it was just communicated wrong by the club, but not a great start, is it? The particular player that let that slip was like, thought it might be in the shit, and then I realised no one had turned up, so maybe it's not so bad. Yeah, if 34 players turn up and you don't, you're in the shit. If 6 turn up, that's on the club, I guess, isn't it? That something's gone wrong there. Miles Duran says, only Arsenal player that made my arse twitch was Martinelli. Never realised how fast he is and he works hard. Other than that, we deserved it, constantly growing into the game. Didn't we look confident? Which has not been the case at Old Trafford lately. Bill says if Maguire was any sort of leader, he would have been in Aubameyang's ear whilst VAR were doing their checks. He's not though, is he? That's the problem. Yeah. So, what else are we going to talk about? Michael Carrick. So, Henry Winter tweeted earlier, Michael Carrick leaves, or last night even, with his head held high. 2 wins, 1 draw as manager. 463 games, 57 goals, 5 titles, 1 Champions League, 1 Europa League, 2 League Cups and an FA Cup. As an interim, he steered United into the Champions League knockout, stopped the rot in the Premier League. From the dugout to the pitch, Carrick delivered. Most Michael Carrick way of doing things ever, I would suggest. Just being like, anyway, I'm out of here. And good luck to him. Obviously, I've told Rio he needs to get him text and find out if we can get him on Vibe with 5 next week. But knowing Michael Carrick, the way he is, the way he's conducted himself throughout all of this, he's a quiet guy. I can't imagine that it'll be a yes. I don't think he'll come on, to be honest with you, but we have to ask, don't we? Because we'd love to talk to him about this little period, and love to talk to Michael about his career anyway, to be honest with you, because he had a sensational career. I always said Paul Scholes was above everyone, right? Let's have it right. Paul Scholes was up here. Then it was your Lampards and Gerrards. But in that conversation is Michael Carrick. And you're completely and utterly wrong if you don't think Michael Carrick is every bit as good a player as Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard. Comfortably was. And don't point to his England stats, because they're absolute nonsense and just proves England managers were terrible and not fit for purpose at the time. Michael Carrick was an absolutely sensational player who should have played a hell of a lot more for his country than he did. But yeah, Michael Carrick, fair play. He looks like he's handled this transition from Ollie to Ralf Rangnick with the sort of calmness and class that he played the game with. He's been undefeated. He arguably should have had 3 wins out of 3. We were very unfortunate to get the penalty that we conceded against Chelsea. And if the ball falls to anybody else apart from Fred, we probably see a different result in it anyway in that Chelsea game. So very well done for Michael Carrick. When he dropped Ronaldo, I said all Michael Carrick needed to do was to pick an 11 that he could justify when he goes to an interview. And if he thinks he could have done that, well, the point away at Chelsea suggests he could have done that. So I think he'll definitely get a job on the back end of this. I think he'll have done himself no harm whatsoever with the way he's conducted himself, and also his record stands up. Where that could be, anybody's guess. Obviously, club connections wise, he's got West Ham, he's got Tottenham, he's got Manchester United. He's from the northeast. Can't see any of them taking him, so I think he's going to have to look a little bit further afield. Parky says England would have been better off had Carrick played instead of Lampard or Gerrard. No question at all, mate. Absolutely correct. The problem is, yeah, Lampard and Gerrard were far too similar. They were both attacking midfielders who scored you goals. They didn't have anyone that could sit back and conduct play from deeper, a deep line playmaker, someone who also had good defensive tendencies. Lampard and Gerrard were good technical footballers, but they weren't defensive minded. They weren't they didn't have good defensive instincts. The pair of them wanted to get forward. They were both essentially real, like combative number 10s, really. So, yeah, I think one of them would have been the better option. Or, at the time, Manchester United was fielding a midfield three of English players, Scholes, Hargreaves and Carrick, and were champions of England, champions of Europe, and champions of the world. And England never turned to that as a midfield three. Tells you everything you need to know about England and England managers. But yeah, on the back of last night, I see Aubameyang has also decided that he was going to go and boil all Arsenal fans' piss, which, let's be honest, it's pretty easy to do, isn't it? They're a bit of a reactionary bunch, the Arsenal lot. And I think this would boil my piss, to be fair, though, if I saw it. Your captain going out liking a post of a guy celebrating a goal against you. It's not a good look, is it? It's really not a good look. And quite rightly, Arsenal fans have seen their arse with that in a big, big way. What they do with that is anybody's guess now, I assume. I thought they'd turned a corner, but their performance against United was just non-existent, was it? Let's have a look at the fixtures coming up now, because I saw them last night, but I forgot them. And Ralf Rangnick, now taking over at United, has got not just a winnable run, but a should-win run. Got Young Boys after Crystal Palace on Wednesday. Then we've got Norwich away, even though they turned a corner under Dean Smith, is still a 3-point game for United. Brentford away could be tricky, and people are going to laugh at that, but Brentford are playing really well. And we should get a result there. And then Brighton, Newcastle, Burnley to take us to the end of the month. United could conceivably win all of those games, and what a start to the Rangnick era that would be if we managed to go and achieve that. That would be 6-7 wins on the spin, 8 wins if you include last night as well. That's where I think we need to go in a big way, I think. And that's it, really, isn't it? Righty. We're going to do 5 things a little bit later on today. But cheers for joining us this morning. I couldn't do the review last night. I didn't have a great day yesterday. For those that are aware, and if you're not, I've been struggling with a little bit of depression lately. Probably for about 6 months or so. And it's generally pretty good. I'm feeling like I'm in a lot better place than I was doing. But ain't perfect. It's far from perfect. And yesterday was one of the days where I couldn't get out of bed. So I did have a good time watching the game, but I didn't want to be on camera. So, yeah, I was in and out of bed all day yesterday. Couldn't fucking do anything. So, getting there, but not over anything just yet. But cheers for tuning in. Like I said, 5 things will be out a little bit later on. And we'll have the preview for Ralf Rangnick's first game against Crystal Palace coming out on Saturday morning. So stay tuned for that. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. But before I go, we have got the rundown back tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. It's going to be an absolute sensational one. It's my mates versus Janine's mates. We've got Alex and Joe versus 2 of Janine's mates. Me and Janine are hosting. It's going to be live and exclusive, 9 o'clock on Patreon only. We're going to get off our fucking boxes. So make sure to come and join us for that. If you remember what the rundown was, it's a quiz, but it's just an excuse for a sesh, isn't it? So come and tune in for that. The link for that is in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters.